Welcome back to the channel. This is my 2012 Porsche Cayenne, and today we are going to do a spark plug change. Let's get the hood popped and see what we are looking at. So if you look closely, you'll realize this is an engine. So what we're going to do is the spark plugs are going to be under these plugs that you see here along the top. These are your ignition coils that gives power to the spark plug below it. Basically, we're pulling these off, we're taking the spark plug out from below it and replacing them. So to do this, you are going to need, in this case, this is a 6-cylinder, so 6 spark plugs. But however many cylinders you have, you're going to need 1 spark plug per cylinder. It's going to vary a little bit by car. Now, this is the base model. Here are the part numbers that I used. And then this is a specialty tool because it's a Porsche, so of course it is. This is the ignition coil pullers. That is what pulls these off of the spark plugs. This is a specialty tool, but it was only something like $25. But that said, if you don't have one of these, there is a risk that you break this while removing it to get to these spark plugs. So these are expensive. These are something like $150 each a lot of times. These are like, you know, 10 to 20 bucks each if you get the really good ones. So spend the $25 on the stupid tool and then don't break $400 of ignition coils because that would be a bad day. Now, like I said, there are 6 spark plugs that we're replacing today, but as you can tell, these go all the way back to the end of the engine. From a video perspective, that doesn't look good. So I'm gonna go start to finish on this first one just to show you how it's done. But then you just repeat it for all of the other ones behind it. So starting here on this first one, you see there's this little tab right here. So what we're gonna do is lift pretty much there, and lift this up and then pull the whole thing. So doing this with my fingers now, that is how you lift that off. And now here is your ignition coil below it. That's what you need the special tool for. One of the last things I want to note is to get the connector off, I said how you have to lift up on that tab, and I used a screwdriver. You don't really have an angle to get a screwdriver on the rest of them. So instead, I used an Allen key. You can use a pick or something, but you're just gonna hook it and lift up using that. Now let's say you get to a connector and then you notice that someone has been in there before and that a good portion of your connector is missing. You know, purely hypothetical that that happens. At that point, stop, and I would recommend taking it to the shop because you're going to have to replace this entire body, including probably the wire that goes back from there. So I had not 1, not 2, but 3 that were broken. That means these were at least changed at some point, but that whoever did it did not do this properly. Before you do anything else, check the clips that are on there. If any of them are broken and you're a beginner, I don't recommend tackling this on your own. That is extremely frustrating. That's gonna take you a lot of time. So I actually found out half the clips are broken on mine. I've done stuff like this before, so I still went through with it. It took too much time and too many swear words for me to finish it. I'm not even going to do a video on it for that reason. So if those clips are broken, if you're a beginner, don't do this on your own. Take it to somebody else. It is not worth the hassle. Okay, so the plug is partially in the way here, so it's obstructing this a little bit, but this is the ignition coil, and you can see right here, that is where you have the gap on the bottom for this tool to slide into. So you're gonna go down, you're gonna hook it, and then you're gonna pull up. Holding the cap here out of the way with a screwdriver just to make this easier to see. You don't actually need to do that. We're gonna go down, hook it, and then try to pull up. And it's gonna be pretty stuck, considering it's been unmoved for who knows how long. Oh. So that is the first one out. You can see it gets a little stuck, then it kind of all releases at once. Now, if you're looking at these, you'll notice a bunch of cracks if they're bad. Sometimes in the older cars, basically these get heat cycled too much because of where they are on top of the engine. And you'll see cracks down the side of them. If you see cracks all over the top of them, probably just better off replacing them while they're out. This one's actually pretty clean, which is not something I can normally say for the vehicles that I buy. Put this somewhere where you're not going to lose it, where it's not going to be damaged. I would recommend, if you don't put it somewhere out of the car, right there is a good spot for now, right? You want no risk of dropping that. Again, those are not cheap. But before we move on, we're going to take a look down this spark plug hole. You want to make sure there's no oil or anything seeping through, and you can see like a little bit of dust and debris, kind of some like dark specks there on the bottom. That's normal. Otherwise, this one is actually pretty clean. So that's a good sign. Because we know nothing is seeping through now, we can go ahead and start to pull that out. Now, if you get to that point and you have anything like fluid built up in that tube, there's probably a gasket leak somewhere that's letting oil into it. That's a whole different problem, and changing the spark plugs is really going to be a waste of your time and a waste of your money because it's not gonna fix the real issue with your motor. But assuming that yours is good to go like this one, this is actually probably like the cleanest cleanest one I've ever seen, which tells me I didn't buy a complete dud for the first time in my life, you are now ready to take the spark plugs out. So there is a specific spark plug socket on this car. It is a 5/8. Let's say hypothetically you don't already have one of these and you want to make sure you get the right size because there are different sizes. Here's what you do. Buy the spark plugs first, okay? And now use this to figure out which size of these you need. So if the engine's on the left, this is how it goes in, this is how it goes over. So you can see it slides in nicely, good tight grip. We know the socket is the right size. This one is also magnetic, and now it's not gonna fall out. And it's not as big of a deal when you're putting it in. When you're taking the other ones out and they're way down into the engine, having that magnet to help pull them out makes your life a lot easier. This is probably the only time in your life you're gonna buy one of these sockets. So spend the extra $4 and make your life way more convenient for the rest of the times you have to do this. But as you can also probably tell, that's pretty far down there. So we're also gonna get an extension on the back of this. I'm gonna go set that up now and then we'll get that pulled. Going to the double glove now because I'm gonna be holding some cold metal, and that is not the most comfortable on a cold day, but make sure that this is set to loosen, which means it turns counterclockwise, does not turn clockwise. You're gonna go all the way down, and then at a certain point, you should feel it kind of settle on top of the spark plug. That's when you're in, and nice and easy. And at a certain point, you should actually be able to undo this with your finger strength. Another trick with the magnetic one is that the magnet obviously has a little bit of strength to pull it off of the spark plug. So it's a lot easier to tell whether or not it's actually fully unthreaded or if you're just disconnecting the spark plug. So there I pulled it up and you can see the spark plug doesn't come with it. That tells me it is still in there. But now, comes up nice and easy. No problem pulling that out of there. If you didn't have the magnetic plug, basically you'd have to sandwich it against the side and then slowly pull it up from there and hope that the force of you pushing to the side was enough to actually pull it out. But now that it's out, what we're going to do, take your new one, take your old one, make sure that they are roughly the same, right? So we have the part number printed here around the edge. That is the same part number as this box, which is the new one. So we know they are identical. They are roughly the same size, but as you can see, the tip on the old one is pretty burnt out, whereas the new one is nice and shiny. So now we're going to evaluate the health of the motor looking at this one. So basically you get a bunch of carbon buildup and stuff because that is in the combustion chamber. Now the point of this, as you can probably guess by the name, it is a spark plug. It plugs into the engine, it creates a spark, that's what causes the gas to ignite. If it's all built up and eroded and covered in carbon, it doesn't do as good of a job of actually creating that spark, which means the engine doesn't burn as clean, it doesn't run as well as a result of that. So that's what really creates this issue. But looking at this, right, it's pretty dry, there's no oil on it, that's a good sign. If there's a lot of oil buildup, that's a separate issue. Again, most likely a gasket leak. It's just fried. This is probably the original spark plug. This car has 80,000 miles on it. You're supposed to do these every 40,000 miles or so. Other than that, like I said, no oil buildup, extremely dry. It's just cooked out, so I can tell these are old, but otherwise the motor is very healthy. So that is a good sign. Next thing we're going to do is use this tool. This is a spark plug gap checker. You could also use a feeler gauge. You're gonna get pretty much the same result on both of them. And what it's gonna do is check the gap between the electrode, which is that black dot at the center of the lower part on that little white rim. It's gonna check the gap from that to this little shield housing that goes over the top. That is where the spark shows up. So the gap is supposed to be 0.032 inches on this. So I have an 0.30 right here. That should go in without too much struggle. And then next to it, we have an 0.35. That should not go. And you can kind of gauge based on how easily it goes in and out where on the spectrum it falls. So this one's probably like an 0.31. Again, carbon buildup, that's most likely why the gap is a little bit smaller. Now going to your new plugs, they should be pre-gapped from the factory. So here, this is a little more challenging to get in. It's a fresh plug. It's a little bit under 0.32. So what you have are these little things here on the edge. That's how you adjust. Let's check on a second spark plug just to be sure. Here's the 0.30 again. And that is what it's supposed to feel like. Pretty easy in and out. And the 0.35, absolutely not going. So this one feels like it's actually an 0.32. That means our other spark plug was under gapped. So now we have to adjust the other one. This is not an exact science, but it's also not extremely difficult, okay? So what we're gonna do, just ever so slightly, bend this top piece, okay? That's all you're doing. And then if you have to go lower gap, you're basically bending this back. Then it's just guess and check. Go back. Does the 030 fit? Oh, right on the edge of that 030. Okay, so we're at 30 thou. Give it another press. So right now we're probably at about 31 roughly. And right there is just about perfect. So the 030 goes really easy. The 035 does not go at all. This is now properly gapped, and again, it's just adjusting this little bridge over the top here. And that's all you really got to do using these pieces right here. Just kind of hook it, roll it. Properly gapped, put it in our magnetic socket. Now you don't want this to seize up over time. That is going to leave you with a very bad time if you ever have to do these again in the future, and I plan on keeping this car like I said. So what I bought is this, a little bit of anti-seize. You don't need a lot, you're just putting a small dab on the threads here on the outside. So naturally it comes with the thickest brush known to man, and you don't want it to get on that tip, but like I said, small dab. That's already too much. I don't like that. We're gonna wipe off the excess here. That's all you really need. A small little bit, prevent this from locking up. Now we're gonna go back down in the tube, and what I typically do, a little bit back counterclockwise spin, you'll feel the thread go over and click. That's how you know it's lined up. And start by finger tight. If you go straight to the ratchet and you cross thread it, you're setting yourself up for a most likely 4-digit repair job. So don't do that. Be gentle. Engines are expensive. Don't break them. Now at this point, this is as far as we can get it hand tight, but you have to torque it to a torque spec. So this is a torque wrench, and we are going to 15 foot-pounds for this. This is the V6 torque spec is 15 foot-pounds. I've heard that the V8s are 22 foot-pounds. Don't quote me on that. I don't own one of those. So going in here. Now, if you haven't done this before, 15 foot-pounds is not a lot. So basically you get it hand tight, and then you get, let's say, half a turn to a full turn after that. Pretty much the second that it starts getting snug, especially if you have a wrench about this size, that's when you stop. Don't keep going, stop. All right, at this point, spark plug is backed in, we are torqued to spec. Next, putting the ignition coil back on. As you can see, it is nice and dry in there. So before I go ahead and put this on, I'm going to do something else to make this a little bit more serviceable in the future, and that is put a little bit of dielectric grease into the end of that connector. So basically, right down there, this is the socket that fits over the edge of the spark plug. So using our old one right here, plugs right into there, okay? It goes down in, sits in that boot. It's a little bit tight. What this grease does is helps better isolate that electrical signal. You don't need a ton of it again. Just gonna put a little dollop right in the end, but it actually has to go in. That's the tricky part with these. Now, I use my fingers to get it in there. As a fair warning, this stuff is bad for you. You should not put it on your skin. So I'm gonna go wash off my fingers really quickly. What I would recommend is if you don't have like a screwdriver or something that you're willing to sacrifice to put it on there, instead what I would do is use like a rubber glove and then put it on using the rubber glove. So I did not have any nearby. I don't want to get these soaked with grease either, so that is why I didn't do it. So real quick, I'm gonna go wash my hands off, then we will resume. All right, we got the grease in there. We have clean hands now. This is going to go in the same orientation it was when we first took it out. So these little cutouts were facing that way, the passenger side of the car on this one. So we are gonna go push it down and in, and you should feel it click as it seats on that spark plug. Now it takes a little bit of force. You're not really gonna be able to pull it out with just your fingers. That's how you know it's in. The plug, slide directly over the top, and then press back down, and that one is completely done. All right, so coming in here now, you can see it is seated at the same place at the bottom there. It is at the same height that it was at before. This one is fully in there. That is not coming out. Now we just have to go through and repeat for the rest of these. Now, once you figure out how to do it on the first spark plug, the rest are going to go a lot faster. That said, it does get increasingly hard to reach these things as you get farther back into the engine bay, so you might have to get a little bit creative on how you can access those. But with all that in mind, you can do this in about an hour total if you know what you're doing. If it's your first time and you're really hesitant and cautious going through this, it still might only take you 2 to 3 hours. At the end of the day, this is still a relatively quick and inexpensive repair, especially if you're just getting started in the automotive hobby and do-it-yourself projects. So overall, even on a vehicle like this, I would absolutely recommend this to be a first project. All right, at this point, all the new spark plugs are in, the coil packs are on, the connectors are all replaced where needed, but we still have to reset the computer for the car. So if you don't have a Porsche specific scan tool, that warning light saying you need to service the car is not going to go off. You have to have a scan tool. You cannot do it through the menus. Now, every one of these is a little bit different. I'm not going to show the buttons for that. Just know that that is the final step. Other than that, start up the car, obviously not with the garage door closed. Make sure it runs properly and put away your tools because you are officially done. That is all there is to replacing the spark plugs on a 958 Porsche Cayenne. I realize now I didn't do a video of it running before with the old spark plugs, but that is so much smoother. The engine light's now off, so we are good to go. So that'll do it for this episode. Hopefully this video helps you guys out, but I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. So we're going to start by popping off these covers over the top. So that is the real intake manifold. Okay, that's not going to move.